Welcome to another episode of the Expectus Efficiency podcast series, where we speak with leaders who are driving operational excellence, transformation, and growth inside complex organizations. Today, I'm joined by Alex Allen, Chief Operating Officer at James Skinner Baking Company, a company with a long history of delivering baked goods at scale while maintaining the quality, consistency, and reliable customers expect. As COO, Alex is responsible for overseeing the operations that keep producing running efficiently, balancing customer demand, workforce management, supply chain challenges, and continuous improvement initiatives in a highly competitive manufacturing environment. Alex, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Really appreciate it.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for having me.
Speaking of, specifically your industry, food manufacturing, I can imagine that it presents unique challenges where efficiency, quality, and consistency all have to work together. From your perspective, what would you think are the most important operational disciplines that enable a company like James Skinner Baking Company to scale while still maintaining product quality?
I think an important aspect of an operation is to run well and not have mistakes. And that kind of creates a culture of like, just keep it the same, keep it simple. Trying to scale means you have to do new things, try things, think about things in a different way, which is very different than don't make mistakes. And so a core component of what you have to do to get your company growing and improving is to make that cultural switch from mistakes are horrible, don't have mistakes, to growth is good. As long as we plan it out, learn from it, we can accept some mistakes, but we don't want to have mistakes. But growing is more important than not screwing up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the most important message any leader can have if they're trying to grow or improve or anything, because most employees, the main feedback they get is no feedback as long as they don't make mistakes. Like across the country, almost every worker, their primary performance feedback is crickets until they screw up. So the only feedback they ever, so their whole culture is don't screw up and the boss won't bug you. So if you want to start getting a continuous improvement, growing culture, you have to start celebrating growth and improvement and stop penalizing minor failures.
I would totally agree with that too. Celebrate successes, right? Create incentives like on growth and also small successes, but and then also do trials, right? Don't be afraid to try new things, as you mentioned, right? Because if you're always in your comfort zone, you never grow, right? It's like in personal life, right? If I'm always in my comfort zone, I will never improve in anything, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that totally makes sense. As you just said, many organizations experience increasing complexity also as they grow. How do you evaluate whether a process is truly adding value versus simply adding complexity to the operation?
Yeah, that is, just even asking that question is so important, because there's so many, like the gut reaction is often, well, we need to add a process, we need to add a step, we need to add something. And like one of the first things I did here with Skinner's, we pulled out this great video by Elon Musk of like the steps of improvement. And the first step is to define what actually needs to be done. And the second step is to like try to delete as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because people lose sight of like the goal is to make Danishes that taste great at the lowest cost. The goal is not to have 52 workers. The goal is not to have less than 1,000 pounds of waste. The goal is to make great Danishes at a low cost. So first, make great Danishes.
Yeah.
Fill the order. That's top priority. Then we work our way down the nice to haves. Like it's everybody's safe. The Danishes are great. The orders are filled. Okay, now if we can make it slightly cheaper.
Yeah, that makes sense. Don't lose focus, right?
And you have to repeat that a lot as the leader, right? So like in meetings, like, okay, this is the goal is to see if there's any fires, right? How long do you want to be on the phone to call the fire department to come and fix you? Okay, 4 or 5 minutes. That's how long our daily huddle should be, right? Let's all get together. What's the weather going to be? Like the weather guy gets 90 seconds.
Yeah.
on the radio show, that's how much you get to
Yeah.
say what's going on your line. Like, I don't need to know that, that it's sunny outside, it's 82 degrees, the low is this. Like, if the weather guy can tell you the entire weather for the day in 30 seconds, you should be able to do that if your line is running normally. And normally can be, hey, about every day we have about an hour of downtime. That's normal. I don't need you to spend 20 minutes to tell me about your hour of downtime. If
Yeah.
right? Now, if there's a tornado, okay, now you whoop, 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 waves the buzzer, get people's attention. So it, it's a lot of that like coaching of the team about how they're performing their tasks and why they're doing their tasks and trying to be really focused on getting them your job is to get out to the floor, make sure it's safe, make sure the muffins are good, make sure the line's running good.
Uh-huh.
Anytime you're not doing that, it better be in towards that direction. And if it's not, how do we get rid of that? How do we
Yeah.
make payroll faster? How do we make your data entry faster? If you have to spend an hour at the end of the day to enter in the data and paperwork of the day,
Yeah.
we got to get rid of that.
Yeah. That makes sense. Keep things streamlined and not get lost in process improvement for the sake of process improvement and make a project for the project sake, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I hear from it. Yeah. With regards to supply chain resilience and planning, specifically again in your industry, food manufacturers having or facing significant supply chain challenges over the last several years, from ingredient availability to transportation and labor pressures. How has your approach to operational planning and supply chain management evolved with regards to the response to these challenges?
I think the biggest change since the world of COVID is that we can expect a major disruption. Where it was before, like you made things as low cost as possible, and you would assume there wouldn't be a disruption. So, like, you would go buy a year's supply of packaging
Mhm.
because, yeah, every year for the last 20 years, we get the customer's forecast and they buy their entire forecast. So we get a great deal buying an entire year's worth. And then COVID happened and it was like, whoa, we can't trust anything.
Mhm.
And so it's more important to be lean and nimble than it is to be cheap in many regards because we are the likelihood of disruption is to the point where you have to assume it's going to happen. And so you have to pack as if like your vacation's going to be disrupted. So you pack light, be
Yeah.
ready to move. Our hotel might flood. Don't bring too much stuff with you. And that's really what's affected logistics and supply chain is also on the one hand, you try to contract out as far into the future as you can to get a stable price, but
Uh-huh.
they also don't want to contract out as far as they can in the future either. So the longer you go out now, often your price gets worse because they assume that the market is going to go haywire. And so where before it was like, well, if you give me a stable price for 18 months, I'll give you a cheap price if you agree to buy it. Now it's like, well, I'd like to lock out 18 months. Like I have to add a risk premium if we're going that far out. So everybody is more just in time, live, ordering spot. Like you would never order spot. And now everybody's on spot for a lot of their stuff. So that's been the purchasing team is earning their way now.
Yeah.
In
And
food, in food, I locked in my packaging contract, my freight contract, my sugar contract, my flour contract for the year,
yeah, that's the new
once a week
normal, right?
they would check in and now every day they're running around busy.
Exactly, right? Yeah, with regards to vacation, you pack your kayak, you pack your winter jacket and your flip-flops. So you prepare for everything in
Yeah.
that picture, basically. Yeah, absolutely. Disruptions is the new normal. I would totally agree. I would totally agree with regards to our business and with regards to logistics and consulting, what our customers see and what they face. So same challenges. Be prepared for anything and expect it. Expect this on a daily basis. Fluctuations, volatility, and yeah, be prepared and agile, really. With and you mentioned you touched on it a little bit already, and that would have been my follow up question with regards to visibility. What role visibility into costs and transparency into costs and performance play into making effective decisions in also in your business? How does that impact you?
Yeah, that has become so important. It used to be perfectly fine. Rates were set.
Yeah, right.
the second week of the month, you would get a report to see how did last month do, and it might be off by a little bit. Like, so 6 to 8 weeks after something happened, you might see what the total was for the whole month. And you just can't do that anymore. Like, everything's moving so fast. You need to get live information so you can react, because you don't have 6 weeks of inventory. You have 2 weeks of inventory. So you need to know if prices change in 2 weeks. So visibility to data, and then it's almost gone a little bit the other way, because now it's so easy to get data. Now there's too much data. So it's like, one, getting the data, getting it visible, but then also getting it sorted so that it makes sense. Like, react to this number. This number's fine. The numbers that are fine can be gray. I don't need to see them. The ones that I needed them to turn red when somebody needs to pay attention.
Yeah, that makes sense. With regards to leadership and workforce and you being in manufacturing, the manufacturing success, and you touched on it on the people on the floor and on the line. Manufacturing success ultimately depending on the people, right? On reliable people. As COO, what have you found to be most effective in building a culture where employees are engaged in continuous improvement and the operational excellence?
I think it's important to create a journey vision. So in operations, the goal used to be like, and in many places is to be a peaceful village where, the same thing happens every day. The lawns are mowed, everything's manicured, everything's normal, everything's fine. And if anything is not fine, we all point at it and shame it and tell it to get out of our village. Our village is organized, it's consistent, and then the world was like gotten invaded by Vikings.
The
And
pitchfork.
so
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you, right, if you try to have the culture that we are going to stay in perfect little Pleasantville, it's like the Shire, right, in Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
Like, they want it the same, but there are bad forces out there that are going to change things. You need to get out of you need to like tell the Shire, no, we're going on a journey. We want to keep everybody safe, but we can't stay on this island. This island is flooding. We're all going to get in our boats and we're going to go on the journey towards newness, which will mean that we all have to row a little bit. Our lawns might get messy, but we're going to learn how to flow with the weather, how to react to the invaders. We can't just assume that there's this amazing moat around us, because we just got attacked by dragons.
yeah,
And we got attacked by Vikings. We
yeah,
have to switch from Pleasantville to, sort of a war mode. So you got to lay out that picture for the team, right? Like, the world has changed, our prices change. We're going to win by reacting fast to the customers. Your daily schedule, 7 to 3:30 used to be your day. It might do this now. So we know that you can't work 12 hours every day. So we're also going to change our expectation, right? If you work 1,000,000 hours this day because of this emergency came up, we expect you not to be here the next 2 days when it's calm.
yeah.
Like, and so,
Very fair. Yeah,
the weekly meeting that everybody used to attend and be 1 minute early is going to be on Teams, and we're going to record it, and we're going to do notes, and we're going to just start it 1 minute in. And if you're dealing with an issue, it's recorded. You can just log in and see it. Like, you're walking through the plant. Like, we're going to change our culture to we're reacting and addressing the challenge of the day is the mission. The Pleasantville mowing the lawn kind of stuff is going to get delegated down to the systems and the people. Our job is to fight the dragons and put in the systems so that the people live in the village.
yeah, that makes sense.
A lot of managers used to get to be the cop, right? Like, their job was to walk around and hand out lollipops and just make sure everybody was doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah,
We're now riot police. Management is riot police. We're fighting the bad guys and our leads and team members, so that our leads and team members can try to have a normal life, but they also need to be able to pick up the shield and help.
yeah, but it makes sense. Like, the addressing that the industry is changing, but that we're all in it together, right? And you mentioned, and you touched on it earlier, that the leadership style, how you described it, also changes, right? Don't don't slap the wrists when something is not right, but also give incentives when when small things are good, to keep people engaged and also retain people, right? Because that is a huge challenge these days also, to keep people on board, qualified people on the line, from forklift drivers to people on the line, to people in the office, to keep Pleasantville running, really. So yeah.
Yeah.
As a closing question, looking ahead, what do you believe will be the biggest opportunity for operational improvement in manufacturing over the next few years?
Screens. So, and I tell this to like young engineers and interns as they come into a factory, right? So their parents, when they graduated as engineers, they didn't have electronics.
Hmm.
They had bikes, they had cars, they had lawnmowers. They understood that you could just grab a thing and take it apart and put it together and touch a physical world.
Yep.
When they were given computers, they got scared. They're like, I don't know what this thing is. I'm going to touch it. It's expensive. It's going to break. You guys are the opposite. You were given a computer and you can go in and you can create a factory in Minecraft and you will move stuff around and nobody taught you how. Like the older generation did that with physical things. You do that with digital things, but you're the opposite. When you go into the factory, you're scared to touch the physical things. They're big, they're expensive, you're going to break them. I need you to Minecraft the factory, right?
Yeah.
What you did in the video game, you do here. Like that pump broke, or you don't know what the pump is. You go on YouTube. What is a pump? How does a pump work?
Yeah.
Why would the pump break? Like, and then one of the things that I've found to be very successful is you got operators who don't know how to do something. This is how you do it. We're putting in digital solutions into the floor that gives them a tablet, and on a piece of paper it says start your line, check your belt weight. They ignore the paper. You give them a tablet and you make the factory a video game.
All right. Yeah.
Step one, step two. Hey, I can see my score at the top. And suddenly a 20-year-old kid who couldn't run a factory is now living in Minecraft, and they are so excited. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I used the video game dashboard to figure out how to make my bread score go higher.
Awesome.
Awesome, right? And
Yeah.
so that's going to re-engage a whole bunch of people who grew up playing Digital Factory as they actually come into the factory and they're handed the tablet and they are playing Digital Factory in a real factory.
It
They
totally
are
makes
so
sense.
excited to play real Minecraft.
Yeah. It totally makes sense. Like, to
Yeah,
really translate that, I can really see that, how you, like, both ways, from the older generation to the new generation, and vice versa. Then it's so exciting for them, and again it keeps them engaged and
yeah.
motivated to do that, and to put the things that they see on the screen into real life on the floor, and then wanting to do more, right? And wanting to expand and learn more, and like, oh, how does this work now? I want to learn more, and expand my career also on the floor. That's really nice. That's really neat.
And they've become
Yeah.
so experiential. Like in the 90s, it was get a digital job so you can be in an office and you're not hot and sweaty,
Yeah.
right? And now these kids are like, I can do digital at home. I want to come to work and be hot and sweaty. I
Yeah.
want to throw boxes. I want to make dough with my hands.
Cool.
So I think we're going to see a real resurgence of people who want to do it. Like, we could get a robot to do that. Yeah, but we have people who want to do it and want to do it almost for free. Like,
Yeah, and that's the immersion of both worlds, basically. Yeah, really neat.
yeah.
Alex, thank you so much for sharing your insight and experience with us today. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone to listening to the Executive Efficiency Series. Be sure to follow along for future conversations with leaders who are driving operational excellence, efficiency, and transformation across a wide range of industries. Again, Alex, it was really a pleasure. I can really, really see how you drive operational excellence, and how you keep people motivated and engaged. It was really a pleasure this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dennis.
Appreciate it.
If you're in Omaha and need a job, come on by.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.